Hi, I'm Ashley Cooley, a birth, baby, and sleep specialist and mom of 3. There's so much information out there, right? This show is dedicated to helping you clear out the noise so you can figure out what will work best for your baby and your family. If you're looking to learn more about your baby, gain more confidence in your parenting, and get as much sleep as you can through it all, you've come to the right place. Bringing Up Baby is about to get a little easier. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bringing Up Baby podcast, and we are finally in 2026, the year of our next Pregnancy and Parenting Expo. I'm so excited about this. If you are following on Instagram or you've been on our website recently, we are starting to shout it from the rooftops that on Sunday, April 19th, 2026 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you can find myself and a whole bunch of other people and services and prizes and things and information and all things related to pregnancies, babies, postpartum, parenting in those early years. We are hosting the Pregnancy and Parenting Expo at the Westin Nova Scotian on Sunday, April 19th. So this is a new location for us. It's a much bigger, much more beautiful, and accessible location for us. And we're really, really excited that we've gotten to a place where we've grown this much, that we can not only help other people in the community sort of meet service providers, see what supports, it's where you're going to find your village, basically. So we'd love to have you join us. It's going to be an amazing day. And we're going to be, over the next few weeks and months, be dropping little hints and putting together the whole plan for the whole day. And can't wait to share it with you. So make sure you're following us at Birth Baby Sleep on Instagram or Facebook, or check us out at birthbabysleep.ca on our website. And there's a whole page there dedicated to our expo, and we'll be posting updates along the way. This year we are sponsored. We have so many amazing sponsors, but our presenting sponsor, this whole event is basically presented by Nurtured Products for Parenting. They are on Agricola Street in Halifax. It is the baby store. You want to not only just get products for baby, but like these are the top of the line products that they have for baby that are around. And not only that, the entire staff are so incredible and knowledgeable, not just about their own products, but babies in general, and can help you out with your car seats and installing and things like that. So what a wonderful business and place and people, and we're so excited that they're basically going to be bringing their store to our event, and there's going to be tons of good deals and stuff. So anyway, on to other things. Today I want to talk to you about what's normal. So if you're a parent who finds yourself constantly Googling, is this normal? You're not alone. I hear this question almost every single day from brand new parents to experienced parents, all of us. So today I want to talk you through the very common baby behaviors that tend to freak parents out or worry us, but they're usually completely normal. That doesn't mean they're easy. It doesn't mean you can't ask for support. But it does mean that you're probably not doing anything wrong. And so if this episode can give you some peace of mind, then we are doing good things. So the first one, let's start with noisy newborn sleep. Grunting, squirming, sighing, random cries. Sometimes it sounds like something is very wrong, but newborn sleep is incredibly active. Their nervous systems are immature, and they move between sleep stages much more visibly than adults do. Sometimes you might even see an eye open or flicking open and closed. This is the rapid eye movement sleep. You might, if their eyes are closed, you see like those eyeballs kind of whooping back and forth under their eyelids. Lots of noises, lots of grunting, lots of movement, and they're generally in more of a lighter state of sleep a lot of times when newborns are sleeping, and that's when you're going to get the noises and the grunting and the squirming and the things. This was probably the biggest thing that I found. This and postpartum night sweats were the two things that I didn't feel like I was warned about. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need earplugs because I cannot sleep during all of this noise stuff. And I'm like, is it okay? Can I wear earplugs? Like, or is this normal? Is my baby just really loud? It is normal. It is common. It will pass. It will become a little bit more restful and less noisy. but it is normal. And so basically, if your baby's feeling well, they're gaining weight, they're settling back into their own or with support, this is usually normal, even if it's unsettling to listen to. So do what you have to do to get some sleep yourself, and make sure, obviously, baby is safe and doing their thing. But yeah, it's a phase. This too shall pass. It is normal. All right, let's stay on the sleep train here for a second. And short naps. Short naps are normal. They are so incredibly normal, but this is one that we think we're getting wrong all the time. It not only is it normal, but I would expect most babies to have short naps. And by the way, short naps meaning 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes if you're lucky. This is a short nap. These are developmentally appropriate for all babies till they're basically about 5 to 6 months of age. Some 4-month-olds are able to get longer naps. And sometimes it happens, but it's all about the brain. It's all about, can they developmentally link those cycles? Usually by around 16 weeks or 4 months or however you want to call it, give or take, baby sleep has developed into much more like adult sleep in terms of the amount of cycles that we have throughout the night, the periods of light and deep sleep and those kinds of things. So a lot of that has changed and is changing around that time. But I've seen it over and over and over again in my own children and in the 10 plus years that I've been a sleep consultant, that sometimes babies are going to pick it up more quickly and sometimes babies are going to take their time with picking that up. It is developmentally appropriate. How I like to really describe, or one way that I found is so helpful to think about how babies develop and how they're all so different, is think of babies like popcorn kernels. Okay. You got a bag of popcorn of kernels that you are going to put in the microwave or you're going to heat up, and we're going to pop some popcorn. You are heating up all of those kernels at the exact same heat, at the exact same time, yet they all pop at different intervals. And there's going to be some that are going to pop right away. And then there's going to be the 1 or 2 that are just slowly popping at the end. And then there's all the ones that are popping in the middle. So listen, babies are like popcorn kernels. They're going to pop when they're ready. All right. Here's another one, cluster feeding. Cluster feeding is when babies are feeding frequently in a short period of time. And sometimes that frequency is literally like, oh my gosh, they just stopped feeding 20 or 30 minutes ago. And here we go again with the hunger cues. No, they are not trying to trick you. They are probably going through a growth spurt, or they're wanting to regulate your milk supply if you are breastfeeding. So cluster feeding is another behavior that sends parents into panic mode. Baby just wants to eat again and again and again. This often happens in the early evening hours. It happens with babies who are breastfed. It happens with babies who are formula fed. It happens with combination fed babies. Cluster feeding helps regulate supply, supports the growth spurt, and is also deeply comforting for babies. It is not spoiling them. It is not making them so dependent on milk and feeding that nothing else is ever going to regulate them again. It does not automatically mean that your baby is not getting enough food. If you are worried about how much intake your little one is getting, highly recommend checking in with lactation consultants. They're going to be so helpful and supportive and informative for you. But truly, if you're noticing, great feeds or typical feeds, throughout the day, you're feeding them a little bit throughout the night, depending on how old they are. These cluster feeding times are incredibly common. In fact, usually a baby's going through growth spurts. Their first time for cluster feeding, especially breastfed babies, is often that second night in the hospital or at home after being born, and that's to help bring your milk in, actually. But they're also going to go through these cluster feeding moments, sometimes more often, but especially during their growth spurts. So the next one will be at around 7 to 10 days after being born, then 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and it continues to spread out and happen until they're 18 plus. I don't know, whenever they stop growing. So this cluster feeding is incredibly common, and you're going to notice times in development in their stages where they're doing this more often than not. It can often last for a period of about 3 to 5 days, and then we often see after that maybe sleep gets better again if it was impacted by the cluster feeding, their behavior, their temperament, them seeming like more gassy and stuff is all dissipated at that point. So cluster feeding is normal and it will continue to happen throughout different stages. Here's one more. Wanting to be held constantly. You are not spoiling your baby. Many parents worry that holding their baby too much will create bad habits, whether you're, contact napping, just holding them just to like, you find that they're super fussy or just don't want to be put down either at certain points of the day or all the days, or it really, really varies, but they want to contact nap. They want to be with you, on you all the time. Maybe they only settle when they're being held. That's so common. This is normal. Babies are born needing help to regulate their bodies, their emotions, their nervous system. All of these things are very immature right now. So needing that closeness isn't actually a habit. It is biology. Independence comes later. Connection comes first. So if you're finding that, oh, my baby's so much fussier than my friend's baby, or my friend or my sister can put their baby down and go to the bathroom for a quick second, but I have to like take mine with me because they don't settle. Like, this is normal and why we don't want to compare our babies. Okay? Hard to do in the moment, but please remember it is biologically, developmentally appropriate. And not only that, however you do it, however your baby responds, however your baby, whatever kind of crier they are, if they're a high crier, a medium crier, a low crier, however you're responding to them and supporting them through that, whether you're doing it a little bit, kind of a medium amount or a lot, you are helping to support their systems and creating and fostering a wonderful, secure attachment. So you are not doing anything bad or wrong. There's nothing bad or wrong about your baby. This is normal. Okay, we have one last one here, and this one actually comes from a listener. This question, or this, what I'm going to call a normal newborn sleep, but it's not your typical question. It's not your typical concern, but it does come up, and I want to give it some airtime because there is most likely a few of others of you out there that could be experiencing this and want to know if it too is normal. So I recently posted on our Instagram stories that we now have a place where you can send voice notes. They can be anonymous. They don't have to be, but they can be. I'll keep them anonymous for the sake of putting them on our podcast here. But it's a place where you can ask questions. I'll put the link in the show notes for this episode as well. So you can go to it anytime and ask a question or answer a question that I like to ask, which is, what is something that has maybe most surprised you about parenting or parenthood? Whether that's someone told you something and it ended up being completely different, or just nobody told you about something and oh my gosh, here it is, or you just assumed or thought parenting or babies were going to be one way and then it turns out they're another. So please feel free to share, because we are going to have an episode about all of this coming up soon. But yeah, if you ever want to ask a question, you can put that in there and I'll put the link in the show notes. It's on our website as well. But anyway, all that being said, we got some great responses recently, and I'm going to share this one for this episode because it does pertain to an is this normal, is this okay kind of scenario. So here it is.
My baby is 7 weeks old and she sleeps from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., sometimes even 8 a.m. And that's me sleeping with her. Normally, she cries if she's hungry, and in her younger weeks, I would wake up and we'd feed her, but I sleep through the whole night. She doesn't cry that I know of, and we get a full night's sleep every night. So I guess my question is this normal? And should we be waking up for a feed through the night, or just enjoying the perfect amount of sleep that we both get?
So yes, even this is normal. Now, I get this question from plenty of families, and they're usually whispering it to me if there's a group around, or maybe because they don't want to jinx it also. But sometimes babies actually sleep pretty well. And we worry about that because it's like those first times that they sleep longer than those couple of hours that they're used to doing, or now they're doing it regularly, but they're still quite young, and I'm not sure if this is normal. So there could be times where this wouldn't be considered normal. For instance, if baby is overheating, if they feel really warm, if it's warm in the house, that can sometimes cause them to sleep more deeply and longer. And while that might seem awesome to you, that is a big risk for babies. So we want to make sure they're not too hot. We want to make sure they're in a safe space and that there's nothing in the way where that could be unsafe. So outside of the safety factors that we're doing and talking about with safe sleep practices, whether you're co-sleeping, room sharing, any of the things, we just want to make sure all that's done safely. So with all that being said, it is completely normal and relatively common. We just don't hear about it a lot. But babies can sleep longer stretches too at these younger ages. They may not always, because their sleep is not like our sleep right now in terms of the adult stuff. And there is going to be a podcast episode coming up soon on this beautiful 4-month sleep regression, because sometimes that's when we notice around that 4-month mark that those longer stretches of sleep now have gotten shorter again. But I don't want you to anticipate that. I don't want you to worry about what's to come, because there's no way of knowing what your baby is going to do based on anybody else's. And no matter how many other babies are doing X, Y, and Z, that does not mean that your baby will. So this too is normal. And let's just kind of reframe all of this basically before we go. The important thing that I want you to take away from all of this is normal does not mean easy. Normal does not mean you have to love it. And normal does not mean you can't want support or change. So many parents think that something is wrong when really they're just in a hard season. Your baby's not wrong or bad. You are not wrong or bad. This is literally just how it is. So I want to be clear. If something feels off to you, ultimately trust your instincts. That is the important piece. This episode isn't about ignoring your gut at all. It's just about reducing unnecessary fear when your baby is doing exactly what babies are designed to do. So I hope you found this helpful. You know how to reach us if you need anything. All the info's in the show notes, and we'll see you back here next time. If you're looking for more information or support along your parenting journey, check out birthbabysleep.ca. That's where you're going to find prenatal classes, postpartum and new baby resources, and sleep support during the childhood years. Lastly, but certainly not least, if you got something out of this episode or our show in general, leaving a rating or a quick review goes a really long way to helping others find us. So please consider leaving one. That's all for now. I'm Ashley Cooley, and we'll see you back here next time.